I could have just swallowed it,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to swallow it.
Right.
So I was like trying to get it back out. And then
Sometimes-
Daniel was like, oh my God.
Sometimes you just don't want to swallow, you know?
Well, you know, depends on the mood.
Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our savage take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the SaVeg podcast.
Welcome back, you guys. We are finally recording in real time.
Yes, we be in real life. I mean,
well, kind of. For the patrons,
Yes.
we're in the real time.
yes.
For the rest of you, this is a week later.
Exactly. It's a week later. And we've just done a ton of like pre-recorded content because Rose was away, I was away, but like we said to you guys always, we are dedicated to this podcast.
Yes.
And so that content kept coming.
No matter how stressed we is,
No
matter how much shit we got going on,
matter how much our life is in fucking shambles.
we're gonna sit down on this damn couch and have this conversation.
God
okay.
damn. Okay, we is Roses. Deep breath.
Okay. This is our time.
Just about a minute before I almost had to pull the Heimlich maneuver on Rose.
Oh God, I was
started
choking.
Choked it on her halls. I was actually scared.
I was having my throat candy,
Yeah.
and then I accidentally like almost swallowed it, and it was in my throat. To be fair, I could have just swallowed it,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to swallow it.
Right.
So I was like trying to get it back out, and then
Sometimes-
Daniel was like, "Oh my God."
Sometimes you just don't want to swallow, you know?
Well, you know, depends on the mood.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was
guys.
legit scared. Though.
I know you were like, "Oh my God."
Because they were like, I was like, is it lodged in there? Like, is that what's happening right now?
No, I just didn't want to swallow.
Yeah. Okay. And now I know that. Okay.
Anyway, guys, welcome back to another episode. Yeah, it's been a while since we've recorded a regular ass episode, so we're excited. We're ready to get into it, but first, we've got a few Patreon shout outs.
Yes. Now, Rose, tell the kind folks that are our kind listeners, what do they get with Patreon?
So, guys, if you are unfamiliar with our Patreon, basically you get ad-free content. So everything is ad-free. If you join our Patreon, you get every episode a week earlier than everybody else. So you get it in a very timely fashion, and you get a bonus episode every single month only for the Patreon subscribers. So
Exactly.
make sure you join Patreon. It's patreon.com/thesavagepodcast, and you get a little shout out during the show, which brings us to the shout outs.
Starting with Dustin.
Thank you, Dustin, for joining. Kyla
Thank you, Kyla.
and Megs.
Yes. Thank you,
So
guys.
thank you guys so much for joining our Patreon family. Make sure you check it out. I can't even talk.
The link is in the show notes. I'm going to say I'll take over for a minute,
Okay.
Rose. The link is in the show notes, guys. So check it out. And you also get access to that library of all the exclusive content as well. So it's a good, fun little space over there. So definitely go check it out. And guys, I think we're just going to jump right into the stories. There's been a lot going on
There's a lot of stories.
since we took a hiatus.
Well, not really a hiatus, but since we last recorded.
Yeah.
So one of the stories that I saw popping up, which I thought was quite interesting, is Japan's friendship marriages. So
Are they, and they're on the rise, right?
they're on the rise. So
Okay.
it says, with more and more young Japanese youngsters ditching traditional marriage, a new relationship trend has emerged: a friendship marriage. Couples are legal spouses but are not. Okay, this is very poorly written, by the way. Anyway, couples that are legal spouses but are not involved romantically or sexually.
Okay.
So I think we've talked about this many years ago when I was like, Daniel,
We should just get a friendship marriage.
we should get a platonic. Oh, it was like platonic life partner. That's what people were talking about.
Right. Because there was another trend. Like, it wasn't quite like this Japanese trend, but there was like some movement going on around people talking about platonic friendships, and I think it revolved around a story of like, didn't these two girls that were like really good friends buy a
it was
place
like on
together?
TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're doing, but I saw it on TikTok and I was like, this is great.
Yeah. But I think it's just like, again, we as a society, not like ourselves exactly, but as a society, we've kind of constructed this idea of what our social structure should be surrounded around.
Yeah.
It should be marriage between a man and a woman, or I guess like now it's gotten a little bit more different, but like it's just one couple with a couple
Romantic
of kids.
couple.
Romantic couple.
It always has to be romantic.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at all of our like closest ancestors, none of them exist in that way. None of them
Oh,
form.
you mean like chimpanzees and shit?
Chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, like
Right.
all of our bonobos, all of our closest relatives. Again, obviously, like there's been evolution and everything else, but like all of our closest relatives, in fact, none of them form a mating bond between two people that goes on forever, and they just have their kids, and they all live together, and then the kids, you know, and so it's almost like
it's a social construct.
Exactly. So I think what's happening is more and more, well, one, because of all the fucking shit going on, people are like, you know what? I don't want to participate. Like, I would rather marry my friend.
Well, this is the thing. So in Japan, we've talked about Japanese culture before. But basically, one of the issues is that young people are just like not dating, not at least not to the, you know, extent that they, you know, used to.
Yeah.
People are not getting into romantic relationships. There's this thing called herbivore men, which I hate the term, but basically it's like this term to describe men that are like really not feminine, but they're not like traditionally masculine in a way that, for example, they don't like go after a woman or, you know, they're
more
very
like passive.
Very, very passive.
Yeah. I also hate that it's called herbivore because there's that awful stigma about vegan men as well. Like
Yeah,
vegan men are like pussies and because they're not eating red meat, you know, they're not a fucking man.
Exactly. So that's the term, herbivore men.
Ugh.
So with the rise in that, and obviously there's also like, I don't know, there's just like something going on in Japan where people are just like not as involved in romantic relationships
But Rosa,
as
it's not just Japan. I mean,
it's not just Japan.
Japan's the extreme.
Japan's the
But
extreme.
we talked about this. It's happening in Korea, South Korea. It's happening in the U.S. It's happening globally.
It is. And I mean, some like, you know, in some ways, maybe it makes sense. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Like we said, that everyone ends up in a romantic partnership. But either way. So this story popped up and I was like, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
So it says an increasing number of youngsters are turning to modern day marriage, seeking a platonic union without love or sex. They're calling it a friendship marriage. So basically, this new marital trend has many takers apparently around what is like, this is so poorly written. What is this goddamn, like, what is that number? I think that means over 1 million.
Or it means 100 and
yeah. The number is not right. Anyway.
Oh yeah, over 1 million. Over 1 million.
I think.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it says Japanese are potential candidates for this arrangement. The first and only agency in the country that deals with friendship marriages. Since its establishment in March 2015, approximately 500 members have forged a friendship marriage through the agency. So, yeah. So I mean, I think it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think also too, as you know, people do start to get like more fed up with dating and dealing with, you know, all the bullshit that comes along with it. People are like, you know what? Let's just fucking we're good friends.
Yeah.
Let's just, you know, have and in some ways it, like, again, I don't know because I've never been married and stuff, and I think there is also obviously you have that intimate part as well, but it's almost like if you're like sharing a space with a really good friend, as long as you can make it work, it's like I feel like there's not that pressure of like the sex element of like everything else, and it's kind of like kept separate, and like as long as maybe you can still date while you're married, but then it gets a bit complicated, I guess. Yeah,
because then you have to be like, so I'm married to my friend, but it's a friendship marriage.
Yeah.
But I think it might be a good idea because like, not saying I'm going to subscribe to this friendship marriage thing, but I don't think that it's crazy because even the idea of romantic marriages is relatively new, right? Like the idea of romance and like you have to be in love with this person, it's kind of new.
Yeah.
You know, back then people used to marry because it was like financially it made sense, or like the families
bringing the houses together,
exactly,
the
or
wealth.
they just wanted kids or whatever it is. So a lot of people just got married because that's just what you did. It was like very little to do with like actual romance.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, yeah, if you don't add in the element of, oh, I have to be attracted to my partner, I have to be, you know, we have to be having sex all the time, you know, we have to have all of these other things. There's so much pressure if you're in a romantic relationship, plus raising kids, plus like.
And I wonder if an element of this as well, so obviously you have that romantic piece, but I wonder if an element of it as well is, let's say you're a single person in Japan, you've not had very much success dating, but also, again, globally, shit's getting so fucking expensive. So it's almost like nice to have somebody to share the costs with.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah, that's for sure.
It's funny because I met somebody that was in a throuple. Like there were like there's 3 of them, and I was thinking to myself at first, I was like, no, I don't think I want to be in a throuple. And then I'm like, you know what? If I could split my bills 3 ways, I think people are onto something there. You know, I just live with 3 other people or 2 other people, And like my costs are reduced.
Well, why don't you just live with 2 other roommates,
my
Daniel?
grocery bill. Well, I only have a 2-bedroom, so like,
Oh my God.
one of my roommates is gonna have to sleep with, like, not sleep with me, but like just a warm body in the bed next to me. Do you remember that? Did you send me that TikTok of that guy that was like, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
I've had it with dating. Really, I just want someone to sign up, and I just need a warm bed or warm body in the bed next to me that pays half the bills. That's all I need.
Because it is expensive to be single.
Exactly.
And living on your own.
Yeah.
So it could be that as well. It says that friend, but it's just like a matter of, for example, you know, if you're struggling with the love life situation, but you also don't want to be alone and like living by yourself, because that's also very lonely.
Yeah.
So friendship marriage it is, you know, like maybe both of you struggle with, you know, having a romantic partner, and we can
intimacy.
with intimacy, all these things. In Japan, you know, they're very like well known for all of these technologies that allow people to have these like virtual relationships and all that crazy shit.
I wonder how my favorite institution, the Catholic Church, feels about friends getting married.
Well, I mean, as long as they're, I don't know. But yeah, I wonder if how many of these people are actually. I want to know if it's same sex or.
It looks like in the image that it's people from the different sexes. But probably same sex as well, Roses, because why not? Yeah. 2 girls get togethers and then they... Oh my God, listen to this. This is an interesting stat. Individuals showing interest in friendship marriages typically have an average age of 32 and earn income surpassing the national average, and approximately 85% of them have a bachelor's degree.
Well, they were probably thinking, these are people that may think outside the box a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not too surprised that they're quite like a bit older also, because like, you know, by 32 they're probably like, well, I tried the dating thing.
Exactly.
It ain't working. And so I might as well marry, you know, someone. And then listen, it says this trend is also popular among men and women who identify themselves as asexual or homosexual, because that's interesting. Because I bet that gay marriage may not be legal. Meanwhile, homosexuals may view friendship marriages as an alternative due to the absence of legal recognition of same-sex marriage. Oh, so some people are just getting married because they're like, I'm gay. Yeah. And they don't recognize gay marriage. Yeah. That's really interesting.
God damn.
Lord Jesus.
Lord Jesus, take the wheel. What's happening in Japan?
And it also makes sense with like asexual people that, you know, like they're just like, I don't want to have sex.
But the thing with the asexual people, which I find is quite interesting, is they might not have that sexual piece, but they still sometimes long for romantic. Romance. Right. They just don't have the like that
must be hard
desire.
That must be hard to date though.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's like imagine.
Exactly. Imagine I start dating someone. I really get along with them. Chemistry's great. We're having a great time. And then it comes down to it. And I'm like, I want something.
you want a little something. I
want a little love.
And they don't want to give you the love. And they just want to cook you a nice meal instead.
And sit with me on maybe make out on the couch. And that's
they probably don't even want to make out.
Maybe, you know, you never know, Roses.
It says, damn. For certain women, this emerging trend serves as a means to capitalize on tax advantages. Yeah. In Japan, marriage offers tax benefits, such as many other countries, and single women face significant challenges in starting families. Over 70% of individuals in friendship marriages enter into unions to have children. So, yeah, basically they're like, well, you know, I tried the dating thing, can't find a partner, I still want a child, don't want to do it alone, let's marry a dude that I don't want to fuck.
Yep. God damn it, let's raise a child together. So it's interesting. It's interesting that the family dynamic, I mean, it is changing so much. And I think we're seeing more and more nuances happen. Like this kind of stuff. Now we have friendship marriages. I think it makes sense. It does,
I think this should be allowed. Why can't 2 friends, because again, if we think about like a romantic relationship, I mean, oftentimes they break up. Oftentimes friendships last much longer than romantic relationships.
This is true.
And because again, you don't have to worry about the sexual element and all these other things that make things more complicated, jealousy and I don't know, all kinds of shit.
Speaking of which, Rose, I got a question to ask you.
Wait. Daniel, we're just going to live next to each other.
That's true,
okay,
that's
the plan.
In the commune.
In the commune.
Yeah. Which I think would also be fun.
Which would also make sense.
Yeah.
So I think like it kind of makes sense that we're seeing a rise in these kind of alternative families.
Yeah.
Because it's like, again, if you actually take a step back and think about it, why do we have to have only romantic partners that get into lifelong partnerships and agree to spend their lives together?
Yeah.
Some people, they don't even want a romantic partner.
Exactly.
They shouldn't have to live alone in a society that demands that you live with the family.
And demands to say this is the only option for you.
Exactly. So fuck it, you know? Friendship marriages, let's make it a thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting. Not exactly with the friendship marriages, but these trends of things that are happening on like a bigger scale. And one of them is, is it like Gen Z that's like the young generation that's starting to get into the workforce and stuff right now?
Yeah, Gen Z. Yeah.
So it was about I think it was Gen Z. And this person was saying, like there was a stat or something. They were like talking about how Gen Z is the most they're most disengaged of all of the generations. And the reason that they said this is they're saying a lot of Gen Zers are being like they're trying to figure out alternative ways to do things because they're like, the system that's in place that has worked for our parents, our grandparents, it's not working anymore. Like there's problems that are happening at such a scale and so rapidly right now that the system is broke. And they use an example of, they're like, okay, look, as a student, this lady, and there was like a whole, like, it was like a fake commercial, but it was done really well. And they showed this commercial and it was like this girl that was like a little child. And her teacher was like, go to university, get an education, do X, Y, Z, do this. And she does all those steps. She ends up in $80,000 in debt. Her first job pays her peanuts.
Right.
Her rent is through the roof. She can't pay her loans. She's like stuck. And she's like, what? This is broken.
Right.
Like, why am I engaged in this?
Right. But what's the alternative?
Well, there's the thing. They're starting to disengage and they're starting to come up with, they haven't come up with alternatives yet, but like this kind of stuff's happening. Now they're getting friendship marriages. Now we're getting other ways to kind of like navigate in this society that's not working.
Oh, goddamn.
For a lot of people.
Yeah, it's not working.
No. Like,
what do we do?
Capitalism is fucked.
Mm-hmm. Ultimately, we come back to capitalism.
It's true. My favorite topic. Interesting story, Rose. I like that one.
Okay, so Diddy. Now we know he did it.
We know Diddy?
Diddy did it. Fucking hell.
Okay.
So I haven't even seen this video. Let me watch.
Oh, God. I don't know if I want to watch it.
Okay, so we just watched that video.
Yep.
Surveillance video shows Sean Diddy Combs physically assaulting former girlfriend, who is Cassie Ventura, in 2016. So I'm sure you guys have heard of this by this point.
Yeah. So Cassie Ventura is the one that sings that song. It's me and you now. She had a couple hits. Yeah.
Okay. And so basically, before this video came out, she had already accused
she was already
him.
I think, it was already going to court or it was in court.
She had already said he abused me, blah, blah, blah. And he, I remember, came out and was like,
Denied.
I didn't do it. Like, blah, blah, blah. I didn't do any of this. And then he was like, basically being like, oh, this bitch is like lying, whatever.
Yeah.
This comes out.
Oh, gross. I just got chills there because this is going to link into a story we're going to tell a little bit later.
Oh, goddamn.
But let me tell you guys right now that people fucking lie until they're caught red-handed, and they will lie through their motherfucking teeth. And even when they're caught, they still may spin a little fucking lie about it.
Uh-huh. So basically
remember that for later.
So Sean Diddy Combs, he violently grabbed, shoved, and dragged and kicked his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. And like, that is like...
It's excessive.
It wasn't even just, not that any hitting is okay, but it was like, that was some damage.
He fucking grabs her like this, guys, and then knocks her to the ground and
He's a huge guy.
And he starts kicking her in the video. Like, that's insanity.
Anyway, I remember he like came out and was like, oh, I apologize. Like, I'm in a better place now. All this bullshit. And I don't know. This guy is just,
It's crazy. It's crazy. And chases after her with a towel around his waist when he reaches her, grabs her by the neck, tossing her to the ground. It's just horrendous because this is the crazy thing. It's like, well, people should never do this to begin with. Like, this is so messed up. Like, nobody should be like laying a hand on your partner. Like,
exactly. What is going on with this man? So not only, I mean, we don't actually, what happened with the
all the other allegations.
Yeah, there's so many allegations with this man. Like, this man needs to be canceled.
But
he needs to go to jail.
You know what this makes me think, guys, is like, after he denied all the shit with Cassie, then he's denying all these other allegations. This shit came out with Cassie now. Video proof, which makes me question all of those other allegations. What the hell's going on? And if he could do that to her,
Oh,
That was that
yeah.
was fucking scary.
Yeah. That was aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like to your point, like no hitting is ever okay, but like this is next level, guys. Like this is like
you can tell he's done that shit before
100%.
because that shit looked way too comfortable doing that.
That is like not something that you just, oh my God, one time I accidentally threw my partner on the ground, kicked her a few times, punched her in the face. It was my first time though. Never done it before.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, disgusting.
It's just like, you are a disgusting man, and I'm sorry, but you deserve everything coming your way. And it gonna be coming.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, so she's filed the lawsuit. And you know what, honestly, oh my God, do you see?
It says the complaint also alleges that Combs, so like Diddy, paid the hotel $50,000 for the hallway security footage from that event. So I don't know how it got leaked.
Yeah.
But basically it happened. It happened in the hallway. That's how there's like CCTV footage. And then I guess like somehow like he paid it off to get rid of the footage.
Exactly. This is another fucked up thing. You got money. I mean, obviously it did come out in the end, which is good. But like, you have money, you could get people to wipe tapes and shit.
Oh, it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, disgusting.
Despicable. So this, oh God, guys. Okay. I think this is just a general...
Yeah, okay. So I just generally want to talk about this because I watched this documentary, or was it a docuseries?
It was like a docuseries.
So it was a short docuseries on Netflix.
Yeah.
It was about Ashley Madison.
Yes.
Okay, guys.
Oh,
have you heard of Ashley Madison?
First of all, spoiler alerts. There's gonna be spoilers.
Yeah. So Ashley Madison is a website that was like, it's still around.
Yep.
I don't think it's as big as it used to be.
Yeah.
But like it was huge at one point, and I remember it was like it is controversial because it is literally designed for married people to have an affair.
Yeah, to meet up other married people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of crazy because there was so many pieces to this.
Yeah.
There was things the company was doing. There was things that people that were involved with the website, or not the website, people that were also involved,
like on the website.
Yeah. So what I want to tie back before we start diving into this, though, you know how I mentioned about like Diddy and everything. So there's a Christian blogger.
Oh yes.
And
so he was featured in the documentary, like very heavily.
Yeah,
and do you remember seeing that video that went viral?
No, I don't remember ever watching him. So basically,
it was this Christian guy that was like married to this Christian woman. They had like a bunch of cute little kids. They're a very good looking couple.
Yeah.
And they went viral on YouTube like many years ago because they did this like car lip syncing video to like Frozen or something. Yeah. And I remember seeing that video because it was like everywhere. Okay. It was like this good looking couple that was like doing this like very, theatrical lip syncing performance. And then I guess from that video, they became super popular. So they became like a YouTube, vlogging family.
Yeah.
Anyway.
One of our favorite things. Family vloggers.
Family vloggers. Yes.
So anyway, he's on this docu-series and he's like, I was just like, and he's such a good looking guy too. And he's like,
I know.
I needed to seek extra validation because, like, I just wanted to, and so he said, I signed up to Ashley Madison. But then I didn't, he like didn't admit to like meeting up with people.
He said all he did was message people. He signed up to it.
Yeah.
And all he did was message. He didn't meet up with anybody. That's what he said initially.
Right? So that's what he says. Then he never tells his wife, right? First of all, he never says shit to his wife.
Yeah.
When the family vlog kicks off, apparently he was all of a sudden happy with their relationship at that point. Didn't want to do the Ashley Madison thing. And then there was the whole point of the Ashley Madison docu-series is that they basically have a huge data leak, which everybody kind of knows about. Everyone heard about this,
right?
Like when they leaked basically all of their users out.
Yeah.
So if your husband was on this, like on it, you could go to a website and
search it up.
Yeah. So anyway, he was on there, and him and his wife, because at this point now they had a big family vlog.
Yeah.
And he admits to it. So he talks about it.
He admits to it after the data leak.
Yeah, but he only admits to again. He says, "Oh yeah, all I did was like I created a profile.
Yeah,
I never met anyone. It was just like I was a stupid thing to do. I can't believe I did it." And
he made a video about it as well. And he was like, like I didn't meet up with anybody.
Yeah.
We talked about it. It's all good.
My wife forgives me. Blah 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 blah. And I knew the whole time, I'm like, you are a fucking liar.
Yeah.
And then he goes right like towards the end of the docuseries, he's like, shit, I'm going to have to tell my...
Because wasn't there another thing that happened where the truth was about to be exposed?
Yeah, they had a family group chat. And
right.
I guess somebody in the group chat
His
was
brother
like,
or something.
He was like, tell her the truth. Like,
yeah.
You need to tell her the truth. And he's like, fuck. And then she's like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
And then he's like, he called his pastor and was like, what do I do? Like, he was hoping that his pastor would say you don't have to tell her. But his pastor's obviously like, you need to fucking tell her everything. Like, what are you talking about? So he goes back in the car and literally he like opens the shit wide. Like, not only did he cheat on her with Ashley Madison, like a ton of people on Ashley Madison, even before that, he tried to fuck some of her friends. He tried to like get with people they mutually knew.
Did he have escorts or something?
He had escorts.
I don't know. He did all kinds of shit.
Fucking everything. And the whole time I was like, you are a motherfucking piece of shit. Lied to your girlfriend's face. And you know, pregnant wife. And you know the worst thing is about it all?
You can't trust anybody.
No, and you know the worst thing is, like, I know she took him back and blah, 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 and they're together now. And it's like made their relationship stronger, like good for them. But at the same time, with that whole situation, 2 times in a row, he had an opportunity to properly tell the truth, and he only did it because he was going to get caught.
Exactly. So you just don't know what's happening.
So what else is he doing? Is he still fucking around?
That's what I mean.
Like,
I feel like in the documentary, they, again, because he's part of it, and who knows, like maybe he is like fully fine,
and he's a changed man.
But it's like, you know, both, like I was thinking the same thing, because I was like, both times he only confessed because it was gonna come out anyways.
Exactly.
So I'm like, how do I trust? If I was the wife, I'd be like, how the fuck do I trust you now?
Exactly.
You know, we need another data leak for you to tell me the next thing.
Exactly. And that's where it's like, okay, well, the first time, okay, fool on me or fool on you. Like, and at that time with Ashley Madison, he should have just come true with everything, right? Tell her everything. And then, of course, he keeps it KG, doesn't tell her everything, lies to the fucking public, everything, and then only mentions this because he knows it's going to eventually come out.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, guys, like, this is just... It doesn't sit right.
God, some of these, listen, I'm going to say something controversial.
Uh-oh.
Some of these like religious people that are online, I'm not saying all religious people, but especially those that are very like, I'm a Christian, I'm a Mormon, I'm a devout Christian.
Yeah.
They are some of the shady ass motherfuckers I've ever fucking seen. Okay.
And speaking of shady ass motherfuckers, the CEO of Ashley Madison during this time, right? Yeah.
The entire time he was like, I'm in a marriage.
A monogamous relationship.
Yeah. Ironically enough, I'm in this monogamous relationship.
So happy, so in love.
I'm definitely not cheating on my wife.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. The wife comes out and says, yeah, we're in this loving, happy marriage. There's no cheating. I'm like, first of all, how the fuck do you know?
Exactly.
How the fuck do you know? Your husband literally runs a website designed for people to cheat. Okay.
Yeah.
And then anyway, at the very end, it comes out, the dude was cheating the entire fucking time, getting escort services, like fucking everyone in sight.
Yep. And on top of that, so basically this docuseries goes through all these different stories. Another thing that I thought was really priceless, though, there's a couple things. So with Ashley Madison, when the website originally launched, they were lying to consumers. So they said to the consumers, your data's safe. Like, it's, you know, they put all these like certifications that were all photoshopped.
Yes.
All this like data protection, all this stuff. And I'm like, guys, and they were making a lot of money. Like, they should have.
A shit ton of money.
Yeah. And then they said there's like a large percentage of women on there. A lot of them were chatbots.
Yes.
So people weren't even the guys weren't even talking to real women.
Most of the actual users were men. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Not that women don't cheat, but like we all know that statistically, men are more likely to cheat, and there are a higher number of men that cheat.
Yeah.
And so the majority of men, the website was majority men, so they had to have more women on board, right?
Yeah.
Because like without women, men are not going to pay.
Exactly. And the thing is, women can go on there and they don't have to pay to message, but men have to pay to message people, right?
Right.
So actually, like, it makes the whole thing even sadder. It's like you have these men on there trying to get with women that they're actually paying to do, and they're chatting with bots.
Oh, God.
It's like the whole thing is
chatting with Ashley Madison employees.
Yes.
And then they had this whole thing where you could pay to have all your data like deleted.
Erased. Yes.
So like you'd pay like when you're deleting your profile, for example, you could be like, oh, let me pay an extra like $30 to get all my data removed. Turns out that did nothing. They didn't remove anything.
Could you imagine you thought you paid and had your data wiped and you're thinking, oh, the leak happened. Oh, that's fine. My data won't be in there.
My God.
And then it's like, yep, it is.
Yeah.
You seriously...
And then a lot of people, like, their identities were revealed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, yes, like, of course, like, cheating is bad. Like, we shouldn't do it. All that stuff. But there was this one story. Again, this is going to be spoilers, okay?
Yeah, lots of spoilers, guys. But watch the documentary because it actually was good.
Yeah, it's still worth watching.
Yeah.
But basically, somebody whose data got leaked, he, like, offed himself, okay? And I'm like, okay,
And it's because his job was like with the church.
Exactly. His job basically was like, listen, your name was on the data leak.
Yeah.
So we need to let you go or something like this. And
he knew because he also, I can't remember his exact job, but it was something to do with the church.
Right.
He was like either a teacher or like a pastor or something in the church.
Some kind of church.
Yeah. And the church was like, you can't be here anymore. You've obviously committed a fucking sin. And then his poor wife found him in the garage.
Oh God, it's actually very sad. So I'm like, I think whatever is in your marriage, that is your business.
Right.
I don't think the public needs to know about infidelities, like whatever. Okay. I'm really not on board with this. Like, oh, if you cheat, like you need to be exposed to the world. Okay. Like, no, you can be exposed to your spouse.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes, again, not condoning cheating, but like punishment does not fit the crime sometimes.
It's true. And you know what? There was one couple on there that like...
I love that. I know exactly which couple you're talking about.
I actually think they met through Ashley Madison, but I can't remember.
I don't know because they didn't really clarify this.
Yeah, but I feel like they did. But there was this couple and they have an open relationship. And
I love them.
I know. And actually what they were saying made sense though. Because he was like, you know what? I love my partner. I'm always going to be with my partner. Like we're married. We love each other. And he's like, but I also like to have sex with other people. Like we do. And she does as well. She's like one of those, people that does as well.
Yeah.
And what they do is their rule is that they just don't lie about it. Right. Like they'll be honest to them to the T. So she's like, as long as my husband's telling me, he's like, yep, I'm going to meet this person.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna have sex. This is who they are, blah, 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 blah. And they have like rules established. Then there's trust. There's no lies in that relationship.
Exactly.
Right? Like they know what's happening and they always come back to each other and they're happy about it.
Exactly. So I think like, yeah, they were, the happiest couple in the fucking entire series. It was so funny because like at first they were interviewing both of them separately. So it was hard to see like what was going on.
Yeah.
And then the woman, when she came on, she was like, yeah, I just cheat on everybody because I love having sex.
Yeah.
So I cheated on this boyfriend and then I cheated on my husband and I cheated on this guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. She was
and
very
later it
like...
turns out, she ended up marrying the guy that, wants to be in an open relationship. So open relationships, I'm all for it as long as both of you are, consenting.
Exactly.
You both understand. I think it's some of the healthiest relationships out there because you're fully just putting it out there.
Yeah, as long as again, I think it's your right. As long as both people, that's equally what they want.
Exactly.
Because obviously, if one person wants it, they don't.
It gets
then
messy.
Yeah, but if both people are like legitimately like, this is what I want in the relationship. They're like, I'm going to hook up with this person. I'm going to do this, and it's all fully transparent. It's like you feel a bit better about it.
Yeah.
And like,
God.
Yeah. Although I don't know if I could be in an open relationship, but maybe I could. Like,
oh goddamn.
Maybe I could just be like, I don't know if I would necessarily want to be sleeping with other people, but if my partner was like,
well, but if your partner was sleeping with other people, wouldn't you want to also?
Know, maybe. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe I'll join my partner.
God damn, for a throuple situation.
Who knows? There's a plethora of different relationship types now. So, I mean, I got to find one first. Before I can even talk about thruples, guys, let's just get one person locked down. In my like fucking fantasy world where I have two boyfriends and I can't even get one.
Well, you know what they say? When you get one, all of a sudden, everyone else comes out of the woodwork.
This is true. This is very true. Like everyone's now like, oh, you're off the market? Oh, I want a piece of
that.
Yeah. It's like, where were you 6 months ago, bro? Why weren't you in my DM 6 months ago? Fuck.
Anyways, so that's Ashley Madison. Apparently the website's still running.
It is, yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
It is. I'm surprised that they didn't get more. Like, I think they probably might have got some lawsuits, but like the whole Consumer Protection Act, like they were doing so much stuff to violate. Let's not even think about the cheating, but like the actual service they were providing customers is they blatantly lied to them and made money off of it.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Like if somebody tells you they're deleting your data and you pay for a service for them to delete your data and they don't delete your data, you have grounds to sue them.
Yeah.
Like they told you, or like if they said all of our connections are authentic, everybody on there is real people, and then they're using bots and fake employees or like employees of the company to be fake people. It's like, and the person that talked to that person had to pay money, to talk to a fake person. Like
I know,
I'm like that's crazy.
Oh God. Anyway, watch the documentary. It's very interesting. Makes you lose all faith in humanity.
God damn. It's just wild. It's actually wild, God damn.
Okay. So another, very scary piece of news because we haven't had enough scariness on flights recently.
Rose, why?
So, most recent story, 1 dead, okay? and at least 71 injured after severe turbulence hits Singapore Airlines flight. Turbulence. Guys, have you ever heard of people dying from turbulence?
No, can you imagine how severe it must have been?
So, one passenger died. 71 people were injured when their Singapore Airlines flight from London to Singapore, noted, London to Singapore, don't take that flight, encountered severe turbulence Tuesday, throwing passengers and crew around the cabin and forcing the plane to make an emergency landing in Bangkok.
God damn.
So it was during meal service. So it was about 10 hours into its flight and midway through meal service when it hit turbulence while flying over Myanmar. Okay.
Yeah.
And I heard that's like a dangerous part.
Yeah.
And anyways, it says all hell broke loose after the seatbelt sign came on. The plane just felt like it dropped. It probably only lasted a few seconds, but I remember vividly seeing shoes and iPads and iPhones and cushions and blankets and cutlery and plates and cups flying through the air and crashing to the ceiling. Oh my God. The gentleman next to me had a cup of coffee, which went straight all over me and up to the ceiling. Can you fucking...
No, like...
I think I would die from a heart attack.
I know, because the thing is, and I don't know if you guys have experienced, well, I'm sure some people have, but like I've only experienced what I would consider, obviously this is next level, but what I would consider to be severe turbulence.
Right.
And it's
so scary.
It's so scary because the whole thing's shaking. It's doing that thing where you can feel your stomach and you're just like, oh my God, what is happening to this plane? Like, I'm actually legit scared. Now, this is next level. Like, imagine, guys, I've never been on a plane where like meal service is happening. There's fucking plates flying in the air.
Oh my God.
Hot coffee. So actually, this is a good lesson for all of us to never order hot beverages on a plane.
Well, I think if turbulence was that bad, the hot coffee would be least of my concerns.
That's true.
Because I'm
but
like,
you could get burns, Rose.
Daniel, that's the least of my concerns.
God
okay.
Damn.
It said, so Davies, I guess that's one of the, that's your last name, Daniel.
Oh, God damn. It's spelled the same
Davies
too.
said he realized the gravity of the turbulence, a little pun there, okay, when he turned around, describing several passengers with gashes on their heads, including one with blood pouring down her face. So I guess like somebody probably like hit the fucking ceiling or something,
or a plate,
hit a fucking
something smashed and cut them. Cut their, because imagine objects are flying around, Rose. You could get
my
hit
God.
in the face with
this
something.
is like actually my worst fear realized.
Like imagine an iPad just all of a sudden flings over, fucking smashes you in the eye.
I think I would like stop flying. Like I don't think I could fly for a while.
Oh my God, it would be.
So the person that died, unfortunately, 73-year-old British man died in the incident from a suspected heart condition.
Yeah, he was probably had a heart attack.
Oh God,
because it was probably so scary, and he was probably like, this plane is going down. Like
so fucking sad.
Especially when you're high up in the air. They're in meal service.
Let's see.
Oh my God.
Anyway, yeah, apparently a lot of people were in like, you know, a lot of people went to the hospital. A lot of people got injured. I mean, so yeah, we don't know like what happened here. Okay. It says flight likely encountered rapidly developing thunderstorms.
So it encountered sudden extreme turbulences over the
Irrawaddy Basin,
a river in Myanmar at 37,000 feet, about 10 hours from departure. And the thing is,
after departure.
The thing is, Myanmar. So you've already been on the plane. Yeah, you've already been on the plane for 10 hours.
I know.
You're probably pretty close to Singapore at that point.
It's so close to Singapore.
Literally, like
that's why it's so sad.
And then they had to divert to Bangkok because of how bad the turbulence was, and like, it is crazy. Because look at, like, they're so close. Even Bangkok is pretty close. Look how close they are to Singapore.
Yeah, they were so close.
Turbulence could become more frequent.
See, this is another, I don't know. Dare I say climate change? I don't know. Because, like...
Blasphemy, Rose.
As we have more issues with climate change, we're going to have more random... severe
it's going to be
thunderstorms.
It's the intensity, right?
Like, the intensity is bigger and higher, and so I mean, we don't know, okay? Because it says tropical thunderstorms like these are typical for this time of year in this region. Okay, and they can form quickly in the early afternoon as the land heats up. But it's like you would think that this is a very common flight.
Yeah.
London to Singapore. It's not anything new.
No, and a lot of people fly Singapore to London and London to Singapore.
Exactly. So it's just like, oh,
it's scary.
It's fucking scary. Oh yeah, it says turbulence could become more frequent. You know, as a frequent flyer, this is great to hear.
I know. Both of us. I'm like, oh my God.
God, it's actually fucking terrifying.
Ugh.
So it says here, about 65,000 aircraft suffer moderate turbulence every year in the U.S. and about 5,500 run into severe turbulence.
Mm-hmm.
These numbers, however, might be destined to grow as the climate crisis is modifying some types of turbulence.
Yeah.
So a September 2022 study predicts that clear air turbulence will increase significantly around the globe by 2050 to 2080. Okay, well, I got to get all my travels done before 2050. Let me tell you. It says, in particular, along the busiest flight routes and the strongest type of turbulence will increase the most. So basically, the bad turbulence is going to get worse and more frequent.
Yes.
And then it says March 2023, violent movements on a private jet. What did I say about private jets, Daniel?
Don't get on them.
Resulted in the death of a former White House official. So yeah, I feel like now more than ever, I don't want to get on a private jet. I don't want to get on fucking helicopters. I don't want to get on small fucking planes.
No.
Because like the thing is, Singapore to London, that is a big flight.
Yeah.
That is
it would have been on a big plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I want to pose a question to you, Rose.
Oh, goddamn, Daniels. You be scared me.
Of these two scenarios, which one do you think would be more scary? Okay.
Oh, God, Daniel.
Severe turbulence like this, or a plane door flying off as you're taking off. Which one do you think would just be more?
Well, I think it depends on where you're sitting.
Okay, you're sat next to the door that flies off.
Well, then that would be worse because I'll probably die.
Yeah, not if you have your seatbelt on.
I don't know, Daniel. That's a pretty fucking strong gust of fucking wind.
That's true. Or things will be flying past you.
Have you seen the movie Alive?
No.
I think I've told you about this many times.
Yeah.
It's a movie based on a true story. It's about like back in like, I don't know, the 70s or 80s.
The rugby team, right?
Yes, there's a rugby team.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
I'm pretty sure I saw it.
You should watch it. It's actually a good movie, but it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Basically, this rugby team from like, I don't know, Argentina or something, or like Bolivia or like one of those countries.
Yeah.
Uruguay, sorry. I think they were flying over the Andes, okay, which is like mountains, like big mountains.
And they're a big mountain range.
Big mountain range. And then the plane fucking hit something and then it fucking crashed. And then the scene that they show when like the plane like fucking goes all crazy, people flying out, like it's fucking terrifying. Anyways, it's about how like a bunch of these people like survived it and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's actually a really good movie, but it's terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you feel like there has been like an increase in like commercial flight issues?
Well, there has been, Daniel. We've talked about it before.
True. But I'm thinking like too also like more and more of these stories come out, like the Boeing story.
Yes,
when
because
it's like they're like, oh, we're going to try to lobby for less safety precautions on planes.
This is why it's terrifying. Because not only are we apparently going to have an increase in turbulence because of climate change, we also have an increase of just issues on airplanes because of lobbying and because of corruption.
Yeah, and we're entrusting our lives to these corporations that care about profit. Like do they really care about me on that plane? No, they care about making the money.
Oh God. Oh God.
I know.
Anyway, guys, good luck to you all.
This is actually really, really scary. I don't know. I think for me, actually, I don't know. Fucking turbulence like that would be insane.
Well, let's still be more logical here because yes, it is increasing and yes, it is scary. Okay. But logically speaking, again, the chance that you're going to die on a plane is still much, 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 much less than the chance that you're going to die in a car crash.
This is true. This is very true.
Get into a car willy-nilly every single day.
Yeah.
Versus a plane where like, oh my God, it's a big deal.
You know what's crazy? So like how people are getting like Teslas and stuff. So speaking of like car crashes, not that the Tesla's getting car crashes, but I found out there's like a feature on the Tesla now. So you can, when you get a new Tesla, apparently you get a month free of what's like called like, it's like a self-driving.
Right.
So you don't actually drive it. You just like put in your destination and it just drives you there.
I've heard about this.
Yeah. And like it's launched. Like you can, if you got a Tesla here in Calgary, you could do it.
Would you do it, Daniel?
I mean, I think it would be kind of cool to try it, to have the
Yeah.
self-driving car.
I would be like scared.
I know. I think
I'm sure you can like sit there and like maneuver.
you
if
would
you
still
need
sit
to.
in the driver's seat, and if
right?
something crazy happened, you could probably like change course.
Yeah.
But like apparently they're pretty smooth because they have so many sensors around them and stuff. So they like plan your route. They see where all the cars are. They like. But then I'm like, you know, things can happen. Like,
And it's a new technology. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm gonna need about 10 years of, you know.
tried and true and tested.
Exactly.
And I want more.
I'm not gonna be a guinea pig in that situation.
Yeah. That's crazy. So I wonder if more and more of these like self-driving cars are going to be on the market. Probably.
Well, maybe eventually we'll just all have self-driving cars and it'll be super fucking safe.
Yeah. So nobody can get into. Well, I mean, still the technology could like glitch. and
Exactly.
cause
This
an
is the
accident.
issue. Okay. There's no such thing as perfect technology.
Exactly. There's always, no matter what, guys, you could have a trusted, true process, honest system. Even like our MacBooks and stuff. You know, like they work well most of the time, but occasionally,
Yeah.
shit hits the fan.
It's still made by humans.
Exactly.
There's still human error.
Yeah.
God damn.
Well, even if it's made by robots, like there's a margin for error. Like there's gonna be an error in in the code.
In the code? Okay, let's see here. What else?
Oh yes. Oh God, we got to talk about that other one, Rose. Yes.
So this went viral like a week ago or something.
Yeah.
And basically, this NFL player, Harrison Butker, he did some kind of commencement speech at like a university grad.
Yeah.
Situation.
So he was like the guest speaker, I guess. Oh my God. I saw it. Oh my God. This is going fucking viral on TikTok.
It's going it's gone viral on TikTok. So basically, Harrison Butker was giving
So I saw something about
recent
Pride.
commencement yes.
Yeah.
So in addition to calling Pride Month a deadly sin, so I
Yeah.
guess he's like a very, again, religious person.
Yeah.
I think he's like Catholic or something.
Yeah.
And then he basically, the part that went super viral, even though apparently the whole speech was insane,
Yeah.
is basically when he suggested that women find more fulfillment through getting married and having children than by pursuing careers. So basically he said something like, you know, we're talking about like literally people are graduating university.
Yeah.
All these women are sat there, which by the way, I think like the stat is that there's more women that graduate from university than men now.
We had talked about this before, and I think it's a global trend. Like more and more women are going to university.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he had the audacity in front of the crowd of about 485 male and female graduates. He basically suggested that women's accomplishments in the home are more valuable than any academic or professional goals. Again, this is a graduation
I know this
ceremony.
is so fucked up. So you have people in the room that have worked their ass
Yep.
off to get this degree. They have gone through all of this program only to have, and I'm shocked that the university, like, maybe they didn't know what he was going to say. I don't know. But like, you know, they would probably, typically with guest speakers, like, you know, you would.
What did you vet what they're going to say?
Of course, like typically maybe they'd have a speech ready. You would vet it, especially for this type of thing. Or the guest speakers that you get in, you've seen them at other speeches. And that's why you got them, because you know they're a good speaker. They've got some positive things to say. The fact that you had a guest speaker.
I think it was like a Catholic university or something. There must have been a reason.
Yeah, because he's like a very religious person.
So let me read you what he said.
Okay.
I want to speak directly to you, basically to women, briefly, because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. Well, thank you for telling me, because anyway.
Yeah.
How many of you are sitting here right now about to cross the stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you're going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring to this world. And then he said, basically, I guess he's married to his wife, Isabel.
Yeah.
And he said, Isabel would be the first to say her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother.
It's so fucking shitty. And like, and again, wrong fucking audience, man. Like, I mean, not that he should ever say this to anyone, but the fact that he's at a university graduation.
I know, it's so crazy.
So basically, he's just like shitting on all the women, be like, you don't really need to be here. Like, you didn't
need to get this degree.
You just need to find a man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's worked out really well for women in the past.
I know. Like, because, you know, their lives are so great when they meet men. And like the statistic of married women are the happiest around, apparently, when they get married and have kids.
The thing is, it's like, I get it. Maybe his wife does think, oh, my life started, you know, some people are like, oh, my life only started after I had kids.
Yeah.
Great. Fantastic. Great for you.
Yeah.
Can't relate.
Clearly your life was fucking boring before.
Exactly.
Like, what were you doing before?
Maybe because your only focus was to have kids. That was
Yeah.
your only goal. So, like, yeah, your life only feels like it started after you had kids because that's all you cared about. But yeah, anyway, this went super viral. And then, and apparently, of course, conservative voices have praised this speech for being 100% correct, for reflecting his self-professed deep Catholic faith. And apparently he also made like a reference to Taylor Swift, which I found quite funny because it's like Taylor Swift, like one of the most famous and popular artists of all time.
Yeah.
Very high up in her career.
Exactly.
Not married.
Yeah.
Doesn't have kids yet.
Yeah.
And you're quoting Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. What?
I know. But it's just...
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so crazy because the thing that blows my mind is, number one, you have somebody like this saying this stuff, and I'm just shocked. Obviously there was outcry and there's people, but I'm just shocked that there are people out there that will fucking support this. I know. I'm like, what is wrong with society? What have we created in this world that makes these kind of things okay?
I don't know. But like, I just don't get, like, why do you care?
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's the fact that like a lot of women are choosing not to get married now. So it's like more pressure needs to be put on women to, you know, get married, because it really benefits men if you think about it.
It does. Instead of looking at the problem and being like, okay, women are no longer getting married and having kids, or less of them are. What is the root cause of that? What is the problem? And let's try to figure that out. Like, and part of the problem is you have, I think, a big majority of reason is because men are looked at their parents and their grandparents and thought that they could live this certain life, get everything done for them, and it's like, well, no. These relationships are now equal partnerships. Yeah. You know, because and I'm not like, I don't want to slag off any of my family, but I know, like, looking at previous relationships, it did feel very one-sided. Like the man went to work, the woman did everything, like everything else. And now it's like, well, both parties have to work, right? So everybody's working, so everybody has to contribute to the house. That's just how it works. If the women have to go to work to support the family, which everybody does nowadays pretty much, unless you're like a fucking millionaire or something, but like pretty much if now the earning, and this is what's kind of fucked up, because in the past, maybe, okay, the man's earning all of the money and paying for the woman and the kids and everything else, and then that she's doing most of the housework. Okay, that kind of makes sense a little bit more. But now it's like that balance has changed. Now because the man can't earn enough himself, the woman has to go to work too, or the other partner, and they have to work as well, which means that they're equally, maybe not equally completely sharing whatever, but like they're both working. So both people have to do fucking housework and shit. Yeah. And
or some people just don't want to get married.
Exactly. That's true.
So a lot of women don't want to get married. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. Like, why do you think? The thing is, like, a lot of people that go to university, ironically enough, they're probably less likely to, you know, end up getting married at least like early on, because they're focused on their career.
Well, and then when people like this, men like this, are doing speeches, women are like, well, this is reinforcing my reason of not to get married.
I know, right? You're just like, oh God.
Instead of having a charismatic guy that's like in a really healthy relationship, equal partners, you get a fucking like
guy that throws a ball around, just FYI.
Yeah, and is like, yeah, women need to, you know, stay at home and, you know, just have kids. That's what really values their life. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then he, of course, jabbed at LGBTQ communities and just did all kinds. Again, why are you saying this at a graduation? This is all very like irrelevant. It's weird. Yeah, because the graduation speech is supposed to motivate people, not be like the world sucks. He motivated me not to want to marry him. Well, that's very true. And it's funny because actually I saw again on TikTok or something, there was like a study done, and I can't remember when it was done. I don't know if it was that recent, where they took like heterosexual men. And then basically what they did is they took they did one group that was like guys that were like very comfortable with their sexuality, very non-homophobic, very didn't like care. Sure. And then they took another group, which was an extreme group that was like super homophobic, all of this stuff. And then what they did is they had like sensors on their like head and stuff. And then they showed them like different types of porn. So they They showed them the homophobic group, like the gay porn. Well, this was the analysis, right? Because it's really hard to tell exactly what's turning somebody on.
Right.
But there was a lot of increase compared to the comfortable with the sexuality guys.
Sure.
Those guys, it didn't really seem to do anything to them. Like
Right.
the gay porn, they were just like, whatever.
Very little reaction.
Whereas the reaction within the homophobic group was like a lot more.
Right. Like they were very bothered by it or turned on by it. We don't know.
That's the thing. It's like it's and people are leaning towards they were probably like had some kind of sexual arousal.
Absolutely.
But it was interesting.
And there was some people, again, this is very alleged, but this guy, there was some speculation. Some people said that he was like on Grindr. Like this guy went through like conversion therapy. I don't know if this is true.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me.
For sure. Because this is the thing, guys. At the end of the day, if you're if you're very comfortable in your sexuality and with yourself, like I get, this is the thing. I get if somebody maybe never met anyone in the LGBT community, they might be a little bit nervous at first, but once they meet people and they're like, oh, it's cool. As long as they're comfortable, I feel like with themselves.
Yeah.
Anyone that I feel like I've met that has been so homophobic and so they're generally, and I'm not, and this is just my own personal experience that I've seen. Generally, they're the ones that are closet cases.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have really shitty relationships.
Yeah.
And like all of this other stuff. And it's so interesting to me because I'm like the people that are comfortable with themselves regardless of their sexuality, like myself, for example, I'm very comfortable as a gay man. I know that I'm a gay man. So like.
You sure? I'm just kidding.
God damn, Roses. So for me, it's like, I just want to be friends with people. I don't care what their sexuality is. Like literally, I could give two fucks. Like honestly, like at the end of the day, and it really doesn't matter. And especially if you're like, I just don't get this. If you're a straight man, like why does it even matter? I saw this really, really funny comedian. This guy it was on TikTok. And he was like talking and he was talking to the crowd and he goes, yeah, when I was in college, I had a gay roommate. And he said a couple of my friends were just like, freaked out because they actually shared a bedroom. Like there was two beds in one room.
Right. Yeah, it was like a dorm.
It was like a dorm kind of thing. And his friends were like, a couple of his friends were like freaking out. And they're like, wow, how could you do that? How could you share a room with a gay man? Like, weren't you worried something was going to happen? And he was like, nothing was going to happen unless I wanted it to fucking happen.
Yeah.
Like I'm very comfortable with my sexuality. I don't mind sharing a room with another man. Like nothing is good. Like I'm not going to all of a sudden end up inside him. Yeah. Or him inside me unless I want it to fucking happen. Yeah. Like literally, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, it's funny because like the other day I was like in a group of people and we were having like there were some guys that were talking about like a gay person like hitting on them and like I don't know, like touching their thigh or something like this, right? Yeah. And I was just thinking because they're all like, oh my God, this happened, it was crazy, and I was just like, that shit happens to women on a regular basis. Yeah. We don't even talk about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like men are, somebody said, they were like, straight men are afraid of gay men because they're afraid that they will do what they do, that gay men will do to them what they do to women. Yeah. Which is so true. It's like, okay. So basically some guy like touched you on the leg. Oh, well, welcome to a woman's like fucking regular ass existence. Exactly. Men are always doing fucking creepy ass shit to women.
Exactly. And also at the end of the day, like, and I know obviously there's some really scary shit that happens to people. And I'm just like, I'm not talking about like extreme cases, but like at the end of the day, if I'm at the bar and I'm somewhere and anybody's filling up my leg and I don't want it to happen, I tell them to fucking stop and I grab their hand. Yeah. It is not that difficult. Like, I mean, obviously there's different situations.
Yeah, obviously you can be like sexually harassed. It's not good.
Exactly. It's definitely not good. I'm not condoning it at all. Of course not. But again, this phobia of like, oh my God, this person and blah, blah, blah. It's like,
because they like men, they're gonna harass me.
Exactly. It's inevitable. They're gonna grab my ass. They're gonna grab my dick. They just can't
control themselves around my sexy ass.
I know. And I'm like, okay, straight men need to calm the fuck down. Okay. Yeah. Like seriously, like, and again, the ones that are super, super homophobic, I almost can I will put money on it that they are either bisexual or something.
We've seen it.
I've seen it time and time again.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, on that positive note, that brings us to the end of the video.
It does.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you follow us on whatever social media platforms. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you follow us on whatever podcast platform you listen to us on. And what else, Daniels?
Of course, guys, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/the SaVeg Podcast. You get all this content ad free. You get every episode a week before everybody else. And of course, you get exclusive content every single month and access to the whole exclusive library.
We're going to film the exclusive right now,
Yes.
actually. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.